Right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, the Most High, our Creator and our power, who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, our Lord, our Savior, and our Deliverer, the Messiah, who the world ignorantly calls JC. His name is Yahweh Shai. Call Halamla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kodash. And double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety unto the whole elect out there. And first and foremost, the water Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. The water Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai for eyesight, for understanding, for prudence, and the ability to see what's going on in this world currently for what it really is, and to be able to hide ourselves in the only safe place, which is in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, allowing us to be able to take heed and prepare the proper way, not the way that the world preps, but the true spiritual way to prep. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for giving us the light of His knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in a world of darkness. Because these people, when the scripture says how there shall gross darkness shall be upon the people, gross darkness is the truth, man. And particularly speaking about our people, because our people is the ones that love to cleave to entertainment and distractions and things that have no meaning, temporary, bullshit. When there's many more important things to be paying attention to and giving energy to. But our people, they block out the adversity, they block out the bad news, and they turn the music up. When more things start to happen, what Jake do, they just turn the music louder and ignore it. But that's okay, because the scriptures tell you how, or it says how, if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Okay, if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. And it's not saying don't give the warning or don't, show our people, or rather raise the alarm as to what's going on in this world. That's not what it's saying when it says, if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. It comes after the warning. It's when you give Jake the warning, when you actually present that information to Jake, and they reject it, or they just don't believe it, and they continue to want to do what they was doing. They get irritated, they get annoyed when you come with information, or when you try to show Jake what's going on and give him the rundown, the spiritual understanding of what's really going on and the reason behind it. They get annoyed, like you throwing them off. You distracting them from what they was doing, man. You know you throwing them off their game. But it's getting to the point to where you're not able to ignore it, man. It's just enough distractions, and it's just enough entertainment still going on today to where you are able to block it out and ignore it. But we getting to that point to where you're not going to be able to ignore it. You're not going to be able to go to the club and stand next to the big ass speaker and blow your eardrums out and escape from the real world. You're not going to be able to go to your local liquor store and get you a bottle. You ain't going to be able to go to your local dispensary and get you an ounce of weed, or your local drug dealer and get you some pills, and use these different avenues, these different vices to escape and to suppress the real shit going on in the world. But even now, you don't see it yet. You don't see that we in the last days. You don't see that this is never going to be 5 years ago. This is never going to be 10 years ago, when everything was so-called calm and it was, peaceful, and everybody was happy. It was good times. It's never going to go back to that. You don't see it yet. You don't see that the things happening in this world right now today are irreversible. Just the U.S. Israel-Iran war itself alone is irreversible, and it's causing major damage, major shift in the world that we once knew. But we're not surprised. We're not thrown off by it. We already know. beginning with the apostles on down. We already understand that it was supposed to be like this. Because Lord willing, we be the Lord's men, those men that were here before, following Yahushua in the same stead. We're doing the same thing we've been doing. Those prophets that's written about in Lamentations that prophesied of lamentations and mourning and woe, those prophets are back speaking the same things, because certain events, certain prophecies have yet to come to pass, but they will. So those prophets that are back, we have to stand in the same stead and give the same warning until those said things be fulfilled. But it's so much going on, it's impossible to keep up. I just wrote down a few notes. I'm not gonna make this too long, but I wrote down just a few notes of the things that's going on as of recently, and it's but a few of the things that's actually going on in the world. It is, man, 2026 it's on fire. The Lord got this year on and popping, man. It is a lot going on, and it's impossible to name everything, right? You got, it's about to be storm season, hurricane season, right? We coming out of winter, going into the spring. That's going to bring about more natural disasters. Okay, there's going to be more volcanic eruptions. There's going to be more earthquakes, more tornadoes. There's going to be more hurricanes. Okay, you better believe the tension between people is only going to increase. It's not going to get. It's not. People are not going to reach a common ground. They're not going to reach a mutual respect. There's too much tension in the air, and people don't know how to handle that tension. They don't know what to do. So therefore, people act out. That's why it's, these are sensitive times. The anger is increasing. The lack of control, right? The incontinency is increasing. People are very angry and very unsettled because the peace is slipping them. There's no more peace. There's no more comfort. The level of comfort that they was used to is escaping them. You got Iran. They just released a statement. I believe it was on X. It said, "Hey, the U.S. Speaking to Trump, hey, the U.S. they struck our hospitals, our emergency centers. You struck our schools, and we didn't return the favor. We didn't do the same to y'all, but you struck our electricity. You struck our energy source, our electricity. We will do the same." And recently you had in Texas, you had that oil refinery explosion, and Lord knows what happened, what the actual cause of that was. We don't know if it was a outside event or if it was an isolated event. We don't know if it was a FF, which I don't think there was any casualties. I don't believe so, but who knows? But who knows if Esau did that himself with the intent of pointing the finger as a ploy to apply more force, more aggression within the war, or maybe it was somebody who got careless. Maybe it was an accident. Who knows? We'll find out eventually. Okay, but just those talks. It's not gonna be no. It ain't gonna be no hot girl summer, man. It ain't gonna be no. Jake. They making all these plans for vacations. Niggas still trying to go to Disney World. Still trying to go on that cruise. Still trying to go to this place and that place and kick your feet up. This ain't the time for that. Listen, they also spoke on not too long ago how, hey, they just might. They didn't say they was, but they planted the seed out there. Hey, we might hit these populated places, these vacation spots, and these talking about these places outside of America where Americans like to go. We might just visit those places and see what's up with them. Apply some pressure over there. They didn't say they was gonna hit America directly, but if there was ever a time not to be traveling and going out, to different countries and different islands and stuff like that, it's now. Iraq just joined in to the military. I mean, the war. with Iran on behalf of them, against the U.S. You know, the Strait of Hormuz is still shut. It's still closed. It's still blocked off. And apparently, Iran is charging $2 million to get through, to pass through, which is making these gas prices, these oil, the prices of oil per barrel is skyrocketing. And it's not just oil, gas prices that's going to be affected, that are being affected. It's going to be more. It's going to be food. It's going to be other different forms of transportation, medicine, other things that depend on petrol. Okay, the Philippines? They just issued a national emergency because their prices of fuel is skyrocketing. It's so high. They just issued a national emergency. Now, when I looked it up, it's about, currently per gallon is 72 Philippine pesos per gallon of gas, which is translated to about $1.20 in US dollars. But over there, they already, their money is weak already. So that's the equivalent of if our gas over here in America jumped up to like $20 a gallon. That's that state of emergency that the Philippines is going through right now, because their dollar is shit. Their currency is shit already. So, on top of that, you got mass shootings at an all-time high. You got airport insecurity. Okay, you got to believe the tensions is going to increase as Trump is speaking about implementing the ICE in place of the DHA, and in place of certain TSA. Oh, I said DHA. I meant to say DHS and TSA. All right, he's implementing ICE agents in place of them. That's not gonna go well. That's not gonna go well. Look how these niggas acting in the streets. They're gonna be them ICE agents that's gonna be in these airports working. They're gonna be antsy. They're gonna be very anxious. And if they acting like that outside, just imagine how they're gonna act in the building with a lot more pressure, a lot more activity, a lot more traffic, a lot more going on. It's a lot. You got to be able to handle that type of pressure working at the airport. Okay. The U.S. military just increased the maximum age of enlistment from 34 years old to 42 years old, which means what? Desperation. Okay, they just want more bodies. You ain't gonna get no thorough training. You're not gonna be a super soldier. You're gonna be a body, a number that's gonna be a casualty eventually. Fucking the quality of food is at an all-time low, while the fucking STDs is at an all-time high. And not just in Houston, all around America. We are in those days, man. So let me start off with this, man. Yeah, also that major 7.6 magnitude earthquake that just hit the Tonga Islands. Over there, one of those what you call it, Pacific Islands, what they call them, Polynesian Islands. Yeah, man, it was 7.6. So I'm gonna get 2 Timothy 3:1, man, because this is where we at. Okay, this is not the time of peace. When you read Ecclesiastes, it tells you that it's a time and a season for everything under the sun. This is not the time to be partying and kicking your feet up and traveling and going on vacation, trying to get your nice little tan. It was a time for that at one point, but now it's not it. Okay. You see AI is getting more advanced. These physical robots are getting more advanced. It's not just for play. It's not just for work purposes. It's going to be used for law enforcement. For crowd control and things like that, man. This is the time we in. These are unprecedented times. You don't see it yet. You can't tell that shit ain't sweet. No, but Jake can't, man. That's why it says in Ezekiel 12, though, the Lord said how that He gonna cause this proverb to cease, and there shall be no more vain vision or flattering divination in the house of Israel, man. But He's gonna perform the word which He spake in your time, O rebellious house. This is the time that the Lord was speaking about. He's gonna perform His word. It's not gonna go out void. It's not just gonna die out. Ain't gonna be no fucking la-di-da-di-da into the kingdom, like somebody said. It's not gonna be no, it's not just gonna be no smooth sailing, man. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And we in perilous times. Those perils are here. What are perils? Dangerous, uncertainty, evils. Be in those times. Ecclesiastes 9 and 12. And just when Yahweh said, he called our people hypocrites, because he said they can discern the face of the sky, but they can't discern the signs of the times. You can't pay attention. You can't put your phone down for a little bit. You can't set aside your wants and your desires for a minute and pay attention to what's going on in the world and actually apply it, or actually filter it, actually as of what's going on according to the scriptures and what this all means, right? As it says in 2 Ezra 9, measure out the time diligently in itself. There's no such thing as measuring the times amongst Jake, man. They just want to get away and escape as far as possible from reality. That's why they get high. That's why they get drunk all the time. That's why they always in somebody's face, always in a crowd, always at a party, always at the club, just always doing something, always busy. So when they're forced to sit down, when they forced to be still, it's because they don't know how to be still. Jake don't know how to be still. It says for Ecclesiastes 9 and 12, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon him. All right, and this is because of the lack of attention. This is Jake has no the characteristic of attentiveness is not a thing amongst our people. The only time a nigga pay attention is when they at the club or when they at a house party or something, and the whole crowd get to running. Me and Jake get to running too. But what the fuck is the point in that? Shit is already, it's already escalated. The danger is already there. The threat is already there. Jake don't wait. Jake waits until everybody else start running. And you can ask any nigga, any average nigga on the street, and they'll tell you that, and they think that shit cute. Oh, they call it a black thing. When you see a crowd of other niggas running, you don't ask no questions. You just start running too. Well, how about avoid the whole fucking scene altogether? So you ain't got to do no running, right? The scriptures tell you how the simple believeth every word, but the prudent man. It said the prudent man looketh well to his going, or the wise man looketh well to his going. And it also says how a prudent man will foresee the evil and hide himself. Why wait until you're in the midst of trouble and danger and things that are a threat to your life to then just want to get to safety? No, just avoid it altogether. That's not common sense, but it should be some sense that you have. It should be common sense, but it's not. And this is why the evil time is going to come upon our people unawares. These things that's happening, it's not just, it seems like it's just happening out of nowhere, but no, these are gradual things the Lord has set up over the years that are now manifesting. But if you haven't been paying attention, it seems like a overnight thing. The tension been there. The heat been rising. So when the water start boiling and burning motherfuckers, that's when they're gonna get, shocked. They're gonna be surprised. But you didn't see the fire under the water. You didn't see the water heating up, the little bubbles starting to form before it actually was a rolling boil. Water don't boil in 10 seconds, man. Ephesians 5:15. This is in the GNT. It says, so be careful how you live. Meaning what? Pay attention. Be mindful. Be considerate. Okay? Examine yourself daily, as we all should. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. It says, be careful how you live. Be full of care how you live. Knowing what? Knowing the Lord is watching. And we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach to be rewarded for the things that we've done in this flesh, whether they be good or bad. That's consideration. All right. It says, it's the scriptures in it's also in the Apocrypha. It says, before judgment, examine thyself. It says, so be careful how you live. Don't live like ignorant people, but like wise people. And you can go on. I can sit here and I can name different ways ignorant people live. What does it mean to be ignorant? It means to be without knowledge. To lack understanding. And what are people who lack understanding doing? The same shit everybody else is doing, what the majority is doing. You can just look around and see. I don't have to sit here and name it. You know what people are doing. They living simple. It says, make good use of every opportunity you have, because these are evil days. And those opportunities are speaking about opportunities to please Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, opportunities to do things that are pleasing to the Lord. But every opportunity our people get, is to appease their own flesh, to do things that they want to do that satisfies them. And it's always been like that. It's gonna be like that until Yahushua hit the reset, until the Heavenly Father Yahweh put the Spirit on Yahushua to come put everything back in his rightful order, to hit the reset button. Jake is going to continue in this, and the scriptures tell you that. Just like in the days of Noah, which was in the beginning of, in the beginning, it's going to be the same in the end, because there's no new thing under the sun. Same spirits that were back then, the same spirits that's back. Those, when a person dies, the spirit is not destroyed. Okay? The scriptures tell you how we hardly get right at the things upon earth, but the Lord allowed man to at least understand that much, that you can't destroy energy. The spirit itself, your soul, is energy. It can't be destroyed. And on top of that, everything the Lord made, he made it that it may endure forever, that it may last forever. So those spirits that were back then, even though the Lord wiped them out at a high number, they wasn't destroyed. They wasn't put out, so to speak. The flame is still burning, but they had to come back. All right. So again, it says, make good use of every opportunity you have, because these are evil days. Don't be fools then, but try to find out what the Lord wants you to do. And it says in Sirach 2, man, they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. And that's what the Lord pay attention to. He pays attention. He tries the reins of the heart. He knows your intentions. We know we're not perfect. The Lord knows more than us that we're not perfect. But he sees our intention. He sees our sincerity. He sees that we actually trying, and that we fear him, and that we do love him. We do love the Lord. We love Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Not because we say it, but because the Lord put the Spirit on us to show it. And we do it to the best of our ability. But majority of our people, they don't have love for the Lord. They love themselves, though. As it says back in that 2 Timothy 3. I mean, as you read down, man, men in the last days, during those perilous times, men shall be lovers of themselves. We in a time of extreme selfishness. Everybody is so selfish and so self-centered, conceited, but everybody wants something. Ain't that something? Everybody always wants something. Always, people are opportunists, but when the time for them to give, or for the time to them, when the time for them to do something, people are hesitant. They're reluctant. It's the world we live in, man. It says don't be fools then, but try to find out what the Lord wants you to do. That's what we trying to tell our people, man. Understand what the Lord wants you to do. That's the most important thing. That is the whole duty of man, is to fear the Most High and keep His commandments. And in that is how you live according to what the Lord wants you to do. And we know it's not going to be a perfect performance, so to speak. Hey, but we trying. But we trying to put our people on to this knowledge as well. But they despise it. They hate it. We trying to tell them, because the Lord, He gave us the understanding as to what He wants. So we trying to give that information to Jake, and they don't care. They don't even. It's not even something that they don't have no they don't have any urgency, and they don't have any it's another word I was looking for. It slipped me though. But pretty much there's no desire. They don't have any interest. That's the word I was looking for. No interest. They're not interested. Our people are the most disinterested, uninterested, whatever the word is, people. Except for when it comes to something they want. All right. Sirach 5:15. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything, in a great matter or a small." All right. Just because something happened in the world and it's light, or it's not necessarily directly affecting you, you're still supposed to pay attention. You're still supposed to sift through it, understand it. It's nothing wrong with understanding the situation, even if it don't affect you personally. If you try to ask Jake about, like I mentioned, how the Philippines just issued a national emergency because of their gas prices, Jacob, they'll probably joke with you. They'll probably brush it off. Well, that's all the way over there. That shit ain't got nothing to do with us. Some Jake might inquire deeper, ask about it. For the most part, they gonna be like, man, we dealing with what we got going on. We ain't worried about that over there. They don't even know what the Strait of Hormuz is and how it affects us. They don't understand why they're seeing what they're seeing, even though it's manipulated. And America is not fully directly, dependent on the Strait of Hormuz to get fuel. They don't understand how it still is being used to manipulate our prices and other things. They don't understand. They just see shit. I just woke up one day and gas prices was a 50 cent higher, $1 higher now. Oh shit. Hey, but we still going to the club. We still going to that little function, that little we still gonna go to that island. We still going out of town. Understanding we in the time of war. This is not the time to be traveling, but they still find a way. They still find a way. I'm gonna close out with this. Luke 21:34. It says, "And take heed to yourselves." And this is talking to the elect, because the elect is the only ones that's gonna take heed and pay attention. The rest, they're gonna just be in la la land. Okay, that's the only la di da that's gonna be taking place, is in these niggas' minds. And by niggas, I mean niggas and women. They all niggas. It's la di da in their mind because they're not paying attention. But like I said, it's gonna come a time where you ain't gonna be able to ignore it. You ain't gonna be able to escape it by getting drunk, getting high, going to party. You ain't gonna be able to escape it. But this is being said to a very small number of those who are actually going to take heed, right? Like it says in 2nd Ezra 8:50, that many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time that dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. The next verse says what? But seek out the glory. It's like it says, but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. So just we gotta just keep doing what we doing. Keep understanding for ourselves. Keep seeking the Lord every day, getting closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushua every day. Still giving the warning, because that's what we're commanded to do. Still giving the warning to those who haven't got it yet, but still seeking out the glory for ourselves and those who be like us. Don't be surprised if somebody you love or somebody you cared about or somebody you grew up with don't get it, don't understand it, don't want to understand it. Don't be surprised. Keep it moving. Okay? It says, and take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting. And there's a lot of that going on right now. All you gotta do, wherever you at, every place, well not every place, but majority of these places, especially the big cities, they got a strip or a place, a downtown area for partying, for bullshitting, for surfing. Every place got it in some form. Well, even if it's a nigga house, everybody go to this house on weekends to turn up. All right. Shalom, shalom, Yahweh Shemal Shabrakatah. But it says, take heed lest you be in that category. And it says, and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. So we in the know, we have to stay in the know, unless we be made drunk and put back in darkness. Okay? If you got the understanding, if you got the light, hold on to it, hold fast to it, use it, utilize it, unless you fall back into darkness and ignorance. It says, and so that they come upon you unawares, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Everybody. Because there's going to come a time where people think it's cool, that peace and safety, only for sudden destruction to come upon them. Who knows how this is going to play out? They may sign a peace treaty, or they may come to some kind of agreement or something, and then it's like what the Lord do. He makes it to where it escalates, and then it dies down a little bit, and then it escalates again, and then it died down a little bit, and then every time it escalates even hotter, even worse. Okay. So verse 35, Luke 21:35. For as a snare shall it come upon all them that dwell on the whole face of the earth. On the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And that's all that matters. Is in that day to be able to stand, man. None of this other shit that's going on matter. None of this shit mean anything. Okay. And that's not a desire that everybody has. Okay. Only when shit get real and it get heavy, and your life is threatened. That's when Jake want to get serious. When everybody else is running, that's when they want to run. But if somebody tell you to avoid that area altogether, you like, nah. Jake, they get confident. Like I said, a fool rageth and is confident. When you give the warning beforehand, don't nobody want to hear that shit. Oh no, you just tripping. You paranoid. You fear mongering. Okay, well proceed, and we'll see in the end of all of this who was right. Okay, but our desire is to stand before to be worthy, to be counted worthy, to stand before Yahweh Shai when He returns. So therefore, we're gonna continue to pay attention, continue to pray, and continue to do our best, man, to get and stay in the good graces of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, and I'm gonna end off with this. That's a good precept. The water, the brother, son of Yahweh Shai, 144, Ezekiel 2:5. It says, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house. Talking about our people, Israel. They always been. Niggas always procrastinate and want to wait to the last minute. It says, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. So time is going to tell. Don't believe us. Don't take our word for it. Just wait. If you don't believe, if you hesitant, you doubtful, just wait. Everything will be revealed. The Lord will reveal everything in his time, and the prophets are going to be justified in the end. All right. So, hey, Lord willing, I pray this is edifying. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the hopeful elect. AGTA, Baba Ball, Kwame Charlotte. Till next time, Shalom.